everybody, Delilah here with a very special video. Today I am doing my 1-year anniversary video, and since I didn't really know what else to do, I decided to do a book tour. When I started these videos, I remember my very first video, I did a kind of reel at the end of the books that I had, and since then my shelves have grown tremendously. So I thought, hey, why not, since it's been a year, let's go ahead and show everybody all the different stuff that I've gotten over the year, and we can celebrate the channel's birthday that way. Stay tuned and we're gonna get started. First shelf, we have all of my classics and children's stories, and so we start off with Beowulf, and I'm sure you all know what Beowulf is. We've all read it in high school, or at least most of us have. A lot of the books on this top shelf are books that I read in school, and I am extremely happy that I never got rid of them, considering I'm going into teaching. And next up we have my huge Riverside Shakespeare. It has all of his plays in it. I think it's all of them. I'm pretty sure it's like every single play by William Shakespeare in it, and once again, super happy I never got rid of this because I am definitely going to be using it when I go back to school and start teaching. The Scarlet Letter, Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, one of my favorites, as you can see with the tabs. Three Lives and QED by Gertrude Stein. Then the Kafka books, The Metamorphosis and The Trial. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. And then my very sad copy of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. The covers come off. Animal Farm by George Orwell. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Skywater by Melinda Worth Popham. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Night by Elie Wiesel. And I have this book that is titled World's Great Detective Stories, and it's an anthology of mystery writers. I don't know most of these writers, but I basically found it at a garage sale and got it because I saw that Mark Twain and Conan Doyle was in here, but they're looking at it now, there's also Voltaire, Victor Hugo, Oscar Wilde. There's a lot of different writers in here. Grindel by John Garner. The two books, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and Let the Circle Be Unbroken by Mildred D. Taylor. Both Ishmael and My Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. The Princess Bride by William Goldman. The Giver by Lois Lowry. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Stone Fox by John Reynolds Gardiner. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. The Golden Compass and The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. Addie Learns a Lesson, and I'm not really sure who this is by. It's an American Girl story by Connie Porter. There we go. Hans Christian Andersen Best Loved Fairy Tales that I got from Barnes & Noble. Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales that I also got from Barnes & Noble. I still haven't read any of these, but I hope to in the coming year. Next up we have shelf number 2, which I put kind of all of the young adult fantasy, kind of like the urban fantasy stories and just fantasy. Most of them are young adult. There's a couple that aren't young adult on this shelf. And starting off, we have my hardcover version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that my friend bought me, followed by my collection of Harry Potter, the complete series in paperback form, the entire Percy Jackson series, and of course, you know, that's The Lightning Thief, The Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. Book 1 of the Heroes of Olympus series, The Lost Hero, also by Rick Riordan. Book 1, which is Shadowland, and Book 3, Reunion of the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. Followed by Avalon High, also by Meg Cabot. The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Beddor, and I know that's really hard to see. Followed by Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Unnatural Creatures, a short story compilation by Neil Gaiman. Followed by The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. Next up we have both Wicked and Son of a Witch by Gregory Maguire. Everneath and Everbound by Brody Ashton. On shelf 3, we end up what's left of the fantasy books, and we transition into science fiction and dystopian and adult books. So to start that off, we have Angel Fall by Susan E. Then the first 3 books of the Beautiful Creatures series, which is Beautiful Creatures, Beautiful Darkness, and Beautiful Chaos by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. And The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. A picture of Princess Jasmine, my cousin colored for me. Midnighters, The Secret Hour by Scott Westerfeld. Titan AE, Kale's Story, and Titan AE, Akima's Story by Kevin J. Anderson and Rebecca Moesta. I love the movie Titan AE. You'll see soon. Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. And the first 3 books of the Lunar Chronicles series, that would be Cinder, Scarlet, and Cress. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Flash Forward by Robert J. Sawyer. Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. Divergent by Veronica Roth. Dueled by Elsie Chapman. The first 2 books of the Hunger Games series, we have The Hunger Games and Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, followed by the first 2 books of the Legend trilogy, Legend and Prodigy by Marie Lu, Blood Plus, First Kiss, which is Volume 1 novelization of the anime Blood Plus, and this is by Ryo Ikehata, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, Merrick by Anne Rice. Now, shelf 4 is where I like to keep my adult novels and their romance novels and contemporary novels, as well as my big box where I keep my library books and some miscellaneous interesting things I get in the mail. The Eternal Ones by Kirsten Miller, Message in a Bottle and Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks, The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, and Digital Fortress by Dan Brown, Forrest Gump by Winston Groom, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, really good book, I suggest it if you haven't read it already, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Kahn and David Levithan, Breathe Into Me by Sarah Fox, All About V by Celie Pertil, The Help by Catherine Stockett, this book without any kind of cover, but it's called Rules by Cynthia Lord, and The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. Next on my shelf is this box. It's an old paper box, but I've labeled it library books, and this is just where I keep my library books so that when I check books out from the library, I know where they are, I know where to put them, and I know to keep them separate from my regular books so I don't mistake anything that's not mine for mine. And inside of my library books box, amidst index card, tablet, an old birthday card that I never gave to the person who it needed to go to, I have Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King and Fairest by Bill Willingham. And to the far right over here, I have an IKEA book and my old graduation book and these magazines I keep getting in the mail. American Baby. I don't have any babies. I'm not having any babies anytime soon that I know of. So does anybody else get these in the mail? I'm trying to figure out why I am getting these in the mail. I'm keeping them, of course, because I'm a pack rat. I can't throw anything away. And I just keep thinking, what if one day I do have a baby? I could have these magazines, right? They sent them to me. And just an old math book that helped me pass the praxis really well, by the way. On this next shelf, we have all of they're the self-help, non-fiction books, and some movies, and this jar, and books that I'm borrowing that I haven't read that I have to give back to somebody. Too Far, a book that I got on my college campus when people were just passing them out for free. I don't know who this is by. It came with a CD. Oh, Rich Shapiro. This poetry book titled Invoking the Muse by Howard Eli. And then I have another poetry book written by one of my old professors. It's called Oracle Figures by Eric Pankey. And then I have a short story collection called Button Button by Richard Matheson, featuring The Box, there was a movie on it. It's really good. It's a really good short story. How They Were Found by Matt Bell. Excuse my barking dog. The Best American Short Stories of 2013. And the editor was Elizabeth Strout that year. Soul Pancake, Chew on Life's Big Questions by Rainn Wilson. Strengths Finder 2.0 by Tom Rath. Strength's Quest, and this one is by Donald O. Clifton, Edward Chip Anderson with Lori A. Schreiner. This is a really, really good book. If you're in college, I highly suggest you read this book. Letting Life Happen by Donald Dulaski. Very good book as well. Full Alignment, a practical guide to transforming your life vision into action by Anthony Seilard. Waking Up, Overcoming the Obstacles to Human Potential by Charles T. Tart. How Full Is Your Bucket by Tom Rath and Donald O. Clifton. The Geek's Guide to Dating by Eric Smith. The Smartest Kids in the World by Amanda Ripley. This is my affirmation jar. It says on it, enjoy the dance of life, and I just keep all of my affirmations in it. If you want to know more about this, just go ahead and leave a comment below and I'll let you know what it is and what I do with it. But for now, I'm just gonna say that. And then I have the movies Catching Fire, Epic, and The Watchmen. And these are books that I am borrowing from somebody that need to go back to this person, but I haven't yet. And this is A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bea. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Sorry if I'm saying these names wrong. The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. And The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. Like I said, they're not mine, but they need to go back to their owner. What I have left on this bottom shelf here is all of my Korean learning tools. About a couple of years ago, I was taking Korean at university, and I was really, really into learning Korean. I have the NTC's Compact Korean and English Dictionary, a guide to Korean characters. This is Reading and Writing Hangul and Hanja. Then I have this fun facts about Korea, and that's from the Korean Embassy in Washington, D.C. Elementary Korean. This is a textbook. Fun Korean. 재미있는 한국어 2. This is the workbook. And this is the textbook that goes with it. Integrated Korean, Intermediate 1, and the workbook that goes with it. 서강 한국어. It's like an elementary level one, and it comes with a workbook and a little dictionary that goes with it. I also have this cute little picture book called Uri Omma, the first shop of coffee prints. If you know Korean dramas, you've probably heard of it. And no, I have never read this. Like I said, never got that far, but it's the Korean novel. I also have this nifty little dictionary that my mom got me when I was taking Korean. It's Udea. It's just this cute little dictionary. And then from there I have just a bunch of cases for my CDs, my K-pop CDs. I don't think I actually have the CDs inside of them, but I'll just show you the boxes and the cases. This is Nadia. I love the CD. The Memory by Park Young-ha. May he rest in peace. It's Raining, and which one is this? Rain's World by B. Rain, my favorite. Shiny, the second album. This is a little booklet. Oops. Super Junior. This is Bonamana, isn't it? Yeah, Bonamana. Ihyori's H-Logic. I also have this little book from, I don't know where the case is, but it's from Yoonha's second album, Someday. Girls' Generation. This is The Boys. This is the Korean version. I also have the English version. Boa, this is her first and I believe only American album. It's not even out of the package because I bought 2 copies when it came out in 2008 or 2009. And then I have Boa's Hurricane Venus box gift by Park Hyo-shin. And that's it for this bookshelf. Stay tuned for the next part where I go over my comic books and manga, which should probably go by a lot faster since they're groups of series.